Welcome to John Martin Talks, where we battle ignorance and apathy daily. The growing ignorance of just how special this experiment we call the United States of America is, and the apathy that we can't or won't do anything and everything to save her. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got a great show for you today. We're going to start out kind of covering a little bit more about the debate. President Trump had a great rally last night, and the first one, I guess, since the debate. And he made some comments there that I think bear repeating, and he's talked specifically about how he was essentially up against two debaters. There were three total on the stage, and Chris Wallace was right in the center there, and President Trump was not too happy about it, but he is persevering on nonetheless. And then we're going to talk about what Joe Biden and apparently Kamala Harris doesn't want to talk about, which is the Supreme Court. Not only the pick of the Supreme Court, but principally, would the Democrats and would Biden and Harris actually support packing the courts and various other things like ending the filibuster and all of that type of stuff. So we'll talk about that, and hopefully we'll have time to update you on what is happening in Venezuela. You know, we haven't talked about that much in a while. Hasn't been much in the news lately, but Venezuela is literally falling apart, and we'll talk about that and what kind of meaning it has for us here in the grand old United States. But before we go any further, I have to mention our sponsor. We come to you live every day from Big Daddy Unlimited Studios, otherwise known as BDU. They're my sponsor, one of my sponsors, and I need you to help them and help me and help us all. And the best way to do that is to look at our show description. No matter when or where you're watching our video, whether it's live, good morning, howdy, how are you guys? Whether it's broadcast later on, hang on a minute, let me see. I had a, sorry, there. We had a little technical issue there I had to correct. You know how sometimes these computers, man, they try to do something crazy like restart on you. Anyway, back to Big Daddy Unlimited. If you look at the description of our show above the video, no matter where you are, you'll see a sponsorship link there, Big Daddy Unlimited, BDU. Click on that for $4. I'm sorry, I got a little discombobulated. Let me start again. For 99 cents, virtually a free trial, 1 month, you get access to anything you can possibly imagine Second Amendment related, from guns and ammo to swag to tactical gear, delivered directly to your door. That's right. You don't have to go anywhere. Delivered directly to your door. If you like what you see there, then you can re-up your subscription at $10 a month, cancel at any time, and John Martin Talk Show gets $4 of that proceed, provided you go through the link provided. So not everybody can be a fighter, but everybody can support fighters like myself and Billy Bob Bass. If you hadn't met Billy Bob, he's got a Twitter handle. It's at Billy Bob Bass 1, and mine is at John Martin Talks. Okay, let's get on with the show here. Donald Trump, Chris Wallace protecting Joe Biden for Fox News, and we're using a Breitbart article as our template. So Joe Biden, man, I think this meme right here shows it about as well as you could. Chris Wallace literally rescued Joe Biden multiple times on Tuesday night. And, I don't think too many people appreciate it, maybe the Biden campaign, but certainly Donald Trump didn't appreciate it, because as he was saying, he was literally having to debate two people at the same time. President Donald Trump on Wednesday called out Fox News host Chris Wallace for trying to protect former Vice President Joe Biden at the first presidential debate on Tuesday night. Donald Trump said, speaking to what they describe, and I would agree with that, a raucous crowd at a campaign rally in Duluth, Minnesota. Can Trump win Minnesota? It's looking like he might can. But this is what he said. If you didn't see, the rally last night, one way to see that is through America's Voice News. If you anything Trump, America's Voice News is your go-to place, and we're on that, by the way. We're live every morning on there. Good morning, howdy, how are you guys doing? But we're rebroadcast on their streaming service as a late night show And you can check that out by channel 219 Dish Network. We're on the Pluto Network. They're streaming literally on every streaming channel or every streaming service like Roku, Fire Stick, Apple TV. Download the free app on your Android or your iPhone right now. America's Voice News is also the best place to cover anything Trump, especially Trump rallies. You will see them 100% there. So check it out. But last night, President Trump said, "Can you believe this guy?" Talking about Chris Wallace. I was debating two people last night. But let me just tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I've been preparing you for this for a month now. This was the way it was always going to be. It didn't matter who they picked. And of course, I've heard people talk about, well, we should have had Tucker Carlson or Sean Hannity. And yeah, I can understand, especially Tucker Carlson. I'm a big fan of Tucker Carlson. But keep in mind that none of them, if you watch their programming, they were critical of the debate. Tucker Carlson, who I got a lot of respect for, I understand why, because they're employees ultimately at Fox News. But Sean, as much as he's a cheerleader for Trump, he didn't criticize Chris Wallace. Nobody at Fox News criticized Chris Wallace. So therefore, CNN and MSNBC weren't going to criticize him. So it's up to Donald Trump, of course, and shows like John Martin Talks, because I've been telling you, it didn't matter who the moderator was. Now, maybe Tucker Carlson, but I got my doubts about that as well, because they all get their paycheck from the mainstream media, and Fox's News is a part of that. I've been telling you from the beginning that, and this goes for the next two debates, assuming that we have them, and of course, Vice President Pence's debate coming up next week, that they got to ignore the moderator. Donald Trump has to take the fight. He has to perform at the top of his game, and he has to understand that he is absolutely debating two people. The media in general, including whoever is moderating the debate, and Biden at the same time. That, to me, is no surprise. And President Trump, and I'm not saying he was surprised about it, but he should not have been surprised for sure. But Trump went on to say, "Liberal media is very upset that I took the fight to Biden and exposed his very dangerous agenda." And he did. He absolutely exposed everything from climate control and the Green New Deal to socialism in general, government takeover of healthcare, to crime in the streets, rioting, looting. He did. President Trump absolutely exposed every bit of that Tuesday night. My only question is, was it effective? Was it effective the way he did it? I'm not sure at the moment that it was, because I do believe, and I gave you in-depth coverage yesterday. If you want to check out our podcast, the best way to do that is either go directly to John Martin Talks Facebook page, like it, share it with others. Of course, you can see it archived on America's Voice News, as I described earlier. And our YouTube channel is getting more popular all the time. Spell it all the way out, John Martin Talks. We broadcast live on it every morning, and every show is archived on there, as well as our Twitter page, which lags a day or two, but that is at John Martin Talks. And Billy Bob Bass, my psychic sidekick, if you hadn't met him, he's actually got a Twitter handle as well. It's at Billy Bob Bass 1, so check it out. But was it effective is a question I have, because I said yesterday that Donald Trump, the only real criticism I have was in a couple of times, instance, I think he bailed out Biden, not intentionally, but he didn't give Biden a chance to continue to ramble, because we all know that the longer Biden talks, the more incoherent he becomes. So I thought Donald Trump should have given him a little bit more rope in which to hang himself. That's really my only criticism of last night. So I say that to say this: I don't know how effective it was on the debate stage, but it could be very effective going forward as driving the narrative. And there were some definite potential takes that Biden had for some great ads, where he basically disowned Bernie Sanders, threw him under the bus, and Ocasio-Cortez, and the whole hardcore leftist, which Biden is really still a part of. he kind of threw them under the bus. I guess not kind of. He picked it up and went boom, threw them right under there. And those types of things. And his idea that Antifa is only an idea, and we'll talk more about that in just a moment. But all of those kind of things, I'm sorry, my headphones still be giving me a little trouble here, that Biden was exposed to that. So I think post-debate, it's going to be very effective. During the debate, at that moment, I'm not so sure it was. More about that later, maybe. Trump said, referring to Biden, he was choking, he got saved. And he's talking about he got saved by Chris Wallace. And there is absolutely no question about that. We're going to play a snippet from the debate in just a minute that proves that without a doubt. He was saved, but as I just kind of elaborated on, President Trump saved Joe Biden, in my opinion. You may disagree, in my opinion, a few times as well. And let me just say this. It's difficult. I get no joy whatsoever in criticizing President Trump because, first of all, I've told you before, but if I say it, it bears repeating. I got kind of a man crush on Mr. Trump. I love all things Trump. I am a huge supporter. If you've watched our show at any length of time, you'll know that, of Donald Trump. I've always been a fan of the man, even before he actually ran for president. So I've always been a big fan of Mr. Trump, and I was thrilled when I realized he was seriously going to run for president, and I have been supporting him ever since. But when I say difficult, first of all, in order to me to have credibility with you guys and for you to respect what I'm saying, I think you appreciate the fact that I tell the truth, at least as I see it, to the best of my ability on a daily basis. And like one of my buddies says, you watch this show, the truth starts now. But also it's difficult to criticize Donald Trump because of the fact that he's been dumped on so much by so many for so long, unfairly most of the time, that I'm hesitant to actually criticize him at all. And I get why some people don't, maybe like Hannity and of course Tucker does from time to time, because they just pile on the president. This guy, the President Trump, and I talked a little about this yesterday, he's got to be frustrated because he's done so much for America. Like he said, he's done more in 47 months than Biden has done in his 47-year political career. And there is no question about that. If they talk about being on the debate stage, really Joe Biden doesn't even hold a candle to Donald Trump. When you look at, like, for instance, and I get off track a little bit, but I want to make this point. When you look at, for instance, something that wasn't talked about at all in the debate Tuesday night was foreign policy. Mr. Biden, in his 47 years, has gotten more United States in more wars, both as a senator and a cheerleader for Barack Obama, than probably anybody else. He is the very definition of a warmonger and a member of the military-industrial complex. I'll go so far as to say Joe Biden has been responsible for putting our people in harm's way and getting our military injured and killed than probably any other political figure in my lifetime. Maybe that's why they didn't bring it up, because President Trump would just absolutely crush Joe Biden on that issue. But as we move forward, we need to take a look at the fact that Biden is a warmonger. So if you're out there, if there are truly any undecided people, and I don't know that there are, or any people that aren't motivated for whatever reason to vote, if you care about peace at all, if you care about ending endless wars, if you're tired of seeing the United States being the policeman of the world, if you're tired of seeing the best and the brightest we have to offer fighting in situations where we don't even know why they're there, then you cannot possibly support Joe Biden. You have no choice but to vote for Donald Trump, because Biden has never met a war he didn't like. One of the reasons why he and John McCain were such good buddies, of course, John McCain, as I say, go down in history as the greatest senator that the Democratic Party ever had. The reason why they were just so bosom buddies is because they both loved war. There's just no doubt about it. But it is difficult to criticize President Trump. One, because I like the guy so much. I appreciate what he's doing. And the fact that he's just been so unfairly dumped on makes me not want to pile on. I just have to say it like it is. But Trump went on to say at this Duluth, Minnesota rally last night. He said, "I'm so disappointed in Fox. I'm not just running against Joe Biden. I'm running against the corrupt." The reason I say Biden, I keep thinking about hiding Biden. "I'm running against the corrupt far left media, socialist and communist in the Democratic Party." And there is absolutely no doubt about that. I love this quote from Ronald Reagan. Man, was he good at lasting quotes. Heaven and hell. Think about that. That socialism, there's two places where socialism works. In heaven where they don't need it, and in hell where they already have it. I mean, that is absolutely. And if we got time, we're going to talk about Venezuela. They are literally having hell on earth down there due to socialism primarily. And of course, Joe Biden and his bunch want to bring that very thing to your doorstep. The president gloated, this is what the article is saying, gloated that he finally got the chance to attack Biden on his son Hunter Biden's corrupt dealings overseas, but that the former vice president was protected by Chris Wallace. The president gloated. Now, see, there's bias right there. I don't think the president gloated. He's just stating the facts, ladies and gentlemen, that the Hunter Biden thing seems to be off limits to the press. It's unbelievable that no one asked Joe Biden about Hunter Biden except maybe somebody like the president himself. And Joe Biden talks about how it's been debunked. Oh, that story's been debunked. It's been debunked because they won't even ask you about it. They won't even do an investigation in it. And when they tried to do an investigation in it, you admitted on camera that you squelched that investigation, Joe Biden. And we're going to play that in just a moment here. And if you haven't seen this, you need to. You probably have. But you can't see it enough because Joe Biden, they don't even ask him a question about his own admission that he interfered in Ukrainian politics to the benefit of his own son. Check it out.
Corruption. They made, I'll give you one concrete example. I was, not but it just happened to be, that was the assignment I got. I got all the good ones. So I got Ukraine. And I remember going over convincing our team, or others, to convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I'm not going to, or we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting $1 billion. I said, you're not getting $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to have any fairness whatsoever, if in fact Joe Biden becomes the next president of the United States, God help us if he does. But shouldn't he, by the very standards they use to judge Donald Trump, now I'm not expecting this, but shouldn't he be immediately impeached? Because there is more evidence in that video, his own admission. He confesses to interfering and obstructing justice in the investigation of Ukraine political corruption. Now, we all know that it's about his son, Hunter Biden, who got literally tens of millions of dollars from foreign entities, from $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow. You talk about the Russia investigation, that's where it should go. But Biden's not even asked a question about this. But shouldn't he be immediately impeached? Should we be unfortunate enough, I should say, for him to be the next president of the United States? Because there's a lot more evidence in that video than anything Donald Trump was even accused of, let alone actually did. But Trump said it at his rally last night. He went on to say, the press doesn't want to talk about it. No joke, man. Talking about Hunter Biden and the Biden corruption. And Chris Wallace is like, we don't want to discuss that. Oh, it's so sad. And yes, it is, Mr. President. Yes, it is. And have you heard that now they're considering changing the debate rules because of what happened the other night? They're even talking about having a mute button on the microphones I don't know if that'll be effective on President Trump or not, but, Donald Trump is a rule breaker. There ain't no doubt about that. He's breaking all the molds, and I hate to tell you snowflakes this, because I know this is probably going to melt you a little bit, but if I melt, you deserve to be melted. Everything that the left hates about Donald Trump, that the mainstream media bashes Donald Trump for, we love him. We absolutely love the guy. That's one of the reasons we didn't elect him to just go along and get along. We elected him to drain the dadgum swamp. And I said many, many times that one of the reasons why I was supporting Donald Trump back in 2016 is I wanted him to bring a literal political bomb to the Washington establishment and just kind of blow it up. I don't mean like Don the Lemon on CNN, literally blow up buildings and burn it down. I meant, figuratively blow up the establishment. And I am very satisfied with what he has done so far. And I can't wait. They talk about Donald Trump being unhinged. Donald Trump's unhinged. Well, that may or may not be true, but you know what I'm looking forward to? And I bet you out there, if you're one of the MAGA hat wearing sons of guns or dregs society like me, I want to see Donald Trump go beyond unhinged to being unleashed, baby. 2020, unleash the Trumpster, like unleash the Kraken, unleash Donald Trump, man. That is what we got to do. I guess the only thing you got to worry about the Kraken is his fear of the Medusa, because we know who Medusa is. That's Nancy Pelosi, ain't no doubt about that. But Trump went on to say, I've got news for Joe. If you've ever become president, you have to deal with some of the toughest people in the world, and Chris Wallace is very, very easy by comparison. And I think he's absolutely true about that, with one small caveat. There's one thing that Donald Trump has found out. Now, I love the fact that he's willing to do it. He's done it better than any president before, but he's taken his licks for it, and that is going against something that a great philosopher genius in American history said, Mr. Mark Twain, about pissing off people that buy ink by the barrel. And Donald Trump has certainly not worried about that. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is what is in fact happening when you look at the debates. It's Chris Wallace, people like him, they buy ink by the barrel. What Twain is talking about is the media. Of course, the newspaper was the media of his day. So what can we do about it? What can we do to overcome this? Well, Donald Trump is going to do his part. A lot of people might be licking their wounds after he was beat up. Now, I'm not surprised. I'm not saying it was justified, but he's certainly being beat up in the press since the debate, and there was no doubt that was going to happen. But what does Donald Trump do? He doesn't even, the old saying, pick yourself up and dust yourself off. He don't have to do that because he's never down in the dirt. He's always upbeat, and he showed that. Excuse me. He showed that in the Duluth last night. So Donald Trump is raring to go. I've been saying all along that I'm not worried about the Trumpster. I think he's going to do just fine. We have to support him. We can't rely on the media to support him. You got to support the people in the media, like John Martin Talks, in order to get this word out. That's why, as I say, not everybody can be a fighter, but everybody can support a fighter. That's why I need you to go to our sponsorship link. I described it in detail at the top of the show. Let me just say it again briefly in case you're just tuning in. Big Daddy Unlimited, otherwise known as BDU, all things Second Amendment related, guns and ammo, factory direct pricing to you. Look at the description of our show, no matter when or where you're watching our video. Above the video, you will see a description, and there will be a link in there to our sponsor, Big Daddy Unlimited. Check it out. Factory direct pricing, straight to you. But what do we need to do, ladies and gentlemen? What we need is what I call a punishing election. We need a red wave election that just leaves no doubt, not only to reelect Donald Trump, and of course I've been saying this for a while, but even beyond that, to overcome all the cheating and scams and everything that we know the left is putting out there, and the mainstream media is going without evidence, even though, like I pointed out yesterday, there's like 1,200 convictions of fraud, election fraud, the Heritage Organization's been tracking for about the last 4 or 5 years. Over 1,000. I started to do 100,000. I started to have a Biden moment, but literally it's over 1,000 convictions not cases, but convictions of voter fraud. Yet the mainstream media says there's no evidence whatsoever of voter fraud. So we need a punishing election, not only to reelect Donald Trump, take the House back, expand the Senate, all of that, but mainly to send a clarion message, like they said in that movie Network, right? That we're mad as hell and we're not going to take it anymore. We need to send a message to Republicans as well, because we can weed out the rhinos in the next election. But we need to tell them without a doubt that the Trump army, and I got this meme I want to show you right here, the Trump army is pissed off, and they don't realize just how pissed off we are, and that we're getting fired up and we're ready to come. We're ready to come at you. And we're coming at you with boat parades and vote parades. I can tell you that. Anyway, that's what we need to do. All right, we're going to move along to Mr. Biden and Miss Kamala Harris. And this is a story from CNN, so it's got to be true, right? Joe Biden and Kamala Harris don't want to talk about changes to the Supreme Court. And that is very, very true. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris made it clear on Tuesday night that they don't want to talk about changes to the Supreme Court, including expanding the current 9-justice bench. In other words, packing the court. And Joe Biden was specifically asked about this. I'm going to play this video this was from the actual debate Tuesday night when Joe Biden was put on the spot about this. I want you to pay close attention to what he said. Check it out. I'm hoping we can get it up there. Come on, Billy Bob. Maybe we're having trouble. Well, if we have to, we'll come back to it. I'll just move. Basically, he refused to answer the question. And he said that whatever position, if we can play it, we'll play it later. We'll see. But whatever position he takes on the issue of packing the court, he said that's going to be the issue. So he refused to answer the question, period. Literally said, I'm not going to answer that question. Can you imagine President Trump even doing that, let alone if he actually did that, how unmerciful they would be against him, that they would just punish the dude. So, is he going to pack the court? Let me just tell you. The answer to that is quite simply yes. They are. If the Democrats get power, if they get the White House and the outhouse and everything in between, they are going to pack that court. There is no question about it. Here we go. Maybe with this the video right here. Check it out.
Filibuster or packing the court.
Whatever position I take on that, that'll become the issue. The issue is the American people should speak. You should go out and vote. Make sure you, in fact, let people know you're a senator. I'm not going to answer the question.
Why wouldn't you answer that
because
question?
the question is, the question
Supreme Court
is,
Justice,
the
radical
question,
left.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe?
That's very presidential right there. Will you shut up, man? You know, he wasn't even chastised for that. Not once. Chris Wallace, not one single time when Biden called President Trump every name in the book, a liar, telling him to shut up, called him a clown. Yet President Trump was the unpresidential one, right? I mean, give me a break. I'm not saying that President Trump didn't have some faults in that debate, but the idea that it was all one-sided is ridiculous, and you saw it on that. But let me just answer the question. They are going to pack the court. If they weren't going to pack the court, if he wasn't in favor of it, wouldn't he just say it? Wouldn't he just say, no, I'm not in favor of that? Because he has actually said that in the past, that he wasn't necessarily in favor of that. Of course, we know Joe Biden will literally flip-flop at a moment's notice. His compass always tilts to whatever's in his political best interest. He is the absolute textbook. You look up Swamp Rat, and Joe Biden's smiling face has got to be right there. But yes, they're going to pack the court. He has no choice but to pack the court for two reasons. One, the left is going to demand it. They're going to absolutely insist upon it should he actually win the presidency. God help us. I have to say that every time I say that. They're going to insist upon it. And the other thing is, the Democrats have no choice now that Donald Trump is going to have 3 SCOTUS picks. He's already got 2 in the bag, and he's getting ready to have Miss Amy Coney Barrett. She's going to be, unless something out of the ordinary happens, which is always possible, she's going to be his third pick. And so they got no choice because of the way that the Democrats view the court. You know, Republicans in general view the court as a constraint on government, as some way to make sure that we don't overstep the bounds of the Constitution. Conservatives, Republicans, people like me and Billy Bob, many of our audience, we look at the Supreme Court as the ultimate decider and protector of the Constitution. That is not what the Democrats see the court as at all, especially the ones running the party right now. They look at the Supreme Court as the ultimate supreme legislative body. So that, because if you look at all the things that the progressive left loves that they've actually got codified into law, it all really came from the Supreme Court. Because the biggest things, and I'll give you two quick ones. The abortion issue, regardless of how you feel, it wouldn't be the same without the Supreme Court. And gay marriage. You could be in favor of gay marriage. I'm not even trying to make that an issue one way or another. But if you look at it, even out in California, people forget this, even out in California, gay marriage failed at the ballot box. But where did it get approved through? The Supreme Court. The Supreme Court does it because the Democrats look at the Supreme Court as the ultimate supreme legislative body. Tell me where I'm wrong. Chime in on Facebook and tell me if I'm wrong on that. All right, for instance. And I will respond to you as quickly as I possibly can. Of course, you can also respond on our YouTube channel, John Martin Talks. Check it out. But the Democrats have, and Biden and Harris have no choice but to pack the court. Biden's running mate Harris also dodged a query in an interview after the debate. Kamala Harris. Now, I get confused. Is it the Harris-Biden ticket or the Biden-Harris ticket? Because this video, Kamala Harris, now Biden, he's liable to say anything. He's a gaffe machine. But Kamala Harris, she actually thinks about what she says, which sometimes is scary. But check this out from about a week ago when she actually has a Freudian slip, I think. But really, it's intentional if you hear one part, and I'll make that point after we watch it. Check this out.
Harris administration together with Joe Biden. A Harris administration together with Joe
There you go.
Biden.
That last part there. A Harris administration. That might have been a slip of the tongue, but she says basically with Joe Biden. In other words, featuring Joe Biden. I mean, like he's getting second billing, man. It's like you're watching one of those credits where they talk about who's in a movie and they give all the, and then they say also starring such and such, you know. Harris is going to be the de facto president, and she basically admitted it right there. But Harris told CNN's Jake Trapper, another piece of work, we are 35 days away from an election. Listen to this right here, because I actually agree with Kamala on this, and I'll explain in a moment. We are 35 days away from an election, probably the most important election of our lifetime and our children's lifetime, and there is nothing about these next 35 days that Joe or I will take for granted. The focus right now is on reminding people that we have this election that is very much in play, and we are in the midst of an election. The reason I say I agree with her is because we could flip those words around, and that's what you, the voters who are opposed to them and for Donald Trump, even if you're only voting for Donald Trump because you're opposed to them. I was listening to a debate coming in this morning about whether or not there are undecided voters. And I think there are very few undecided voters there, and it's all about turnout. It really probably is that. It's a base election. But two things there. If there are a few undecideds, what are you waiting on? And the other is, are there people, like they talk about this hidden Trump vote out there, and people who may be registered to vote? And by the way, if you're not registered to vote, you have a small window of time now to do it. In Florida, just to give you an example, Monday, this coming Monday, I think it's the 5th of October, I believe, is the last day to register in our state of Florida. Most of the states are similar. Basically, you got about a month out before whatever election to get registered to vote. Now, to make changes like your residency, if you're already, you got a little bit more time. But if you are not registered to vote, you basically have a very few days Check your local, state laws, but you have a few days left to actually do that. And I say all that to say this: if they're undecided people, unmotivated people, people not registered to vote, understand this. This election is bigger than Donald Trump. It is bigger. And this story really gets to the heart of it. It's bigger than Donald Trump. Because think about it. One of the things about Donald Trump, even if he, God help us, doesn't win, one of the things we will be looking at, the historians will look at, and lovers of this country will be his judges. The fact that he's appointed basically about 300 judges to the federal bench, and it looks like a third judge, and this has to be before election. Another thing, I don't want to get sidetracked, but I want to remind you of this. No matter where you are, contact your senator, especially if you have a Republican senator in your state, and make sure they understand that they need to confirm this justice before the election day. It is absolutely critical. But I say all that to say that this election is bigger than Donald Trump. It just is. Because this election is about the U.S. Constitution and whether or not we're actually going to be, as Ben Franklin, a constitutional republic, said, if you can keep it. That is really what is at question is. Can we keep it? Can Ben Franklin's statement has come true? We are at the point that it is literally about our republic and whether or not we can keep it. I don't know and I'll have to say this, I don't know if we can even keep it if we reelect Donald Trump. And that's no knock on him. It's just how far over the cliff we've already gone. But there is no doubt if we have any shot at all, two things have to happen. One, we need to reelect Donald Trump because he's our last best hope. And the other is, it is a done deal that we lose the Constitution in our country for all practical purposes if, God help us, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris become joint presidents, man. So, what we got to do is campaign for the president like he's 2 votes behind, and the next 2 people you see are going to put him over the top. That's what we got to do. And we've got to confirm Miss Barrett before Election Day. Call your senators now. Harris added that she and Biden would deal with that later, talking about packing the court. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what I am afraid of. Let me check my time. I'm doing pretty good. That's what I'm afraid of. What comes later if we actually elect Kamala Harris president and Joe Biden, featuring Joe Biden or whatever? What is going to happen? They're going to burn the Constitution. They're going to burn the Constitution. If you think I'm being over dramatic, think about what the Democrats are already doing right this minute, literally as we are speaking. They're burning the flag. All over America, they're burning the dadgum flag. Look at this picture very closely. You know what amazes me the most about this? I mean, the fact they're burning a flag, that doesn't surprise me. I wish it did. It's sad. It breaks my heart. But look what the people around that aren't actually participating in the flag burn are doing. They're on their cell phones videoing it. No one is saying anything negative from what I can tell. They're celebrating it. They're sharing it with their friends. Look, they're burning the flag. This is the Democratic Party. This is the modern Democratic Party. Love or hate Donald Trump, make no mistake, this is what the election is about, stuff like this. And if you think I'm dramatizing it because burning a flag may not be that big a deal, it's really, a slap in the face to everything we stand for. But if burning the flag is not that big a deal, how about burning our dadgum cities down? Maybe the reason why Joe Biden says build back better is because we're going to have to build it back after they burn that sucker down. If you don't believe that they're burning our cities, check this picture out. I mean, does that not tell you right there what's happening in America as we speak? These are in Democratic run cities. So they're burning the flag. They're burning the cities, man. And what is Joe Biden's response to all this? We're going to play you another clip from the debate. This is Joe Biden talking about Antifa. Check it out.
Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem. This is a left. This is a left-wing problem.
White supremacist. Antifa is an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you got it.
Not militia. That's what his
it's an idea.
FBI His FBI director
Gentlemen,
said.
Well,
we're
then
gonna-
you know what?
No, we're done, sir. We're moving on to the next.
Think about that right there. That last part. Did you catch that? There was Chris Wallace, the moderator, who's supposed to be invisible. You know, he said he hoped that would be his greatest thing, to be invisible. I don't think he achieved his dream. But check out that video again. He says, we're done. In other words, Joe Biden has just made a dramatic statement that Antifa, that is literally responsible for people dying in the streets, let alone burning and looting and everything else, along, of course, with Black Lives Matter. Yeah, I said it. Black Lives Matter, the organization, is a communist organization. Tell me where I'm wrong. One of those tables. Tell me where I'm wrong. Because they admit it their own self. But Biden is making a dramatic statement, probably the most dramatic statement. Of course, everybody's focused on the, white supremacist issue. But Biden literally says that people who are armed to the teeth, shields, like they're riot police themselves, Antifa is an idea, not an actual reality. It's just an idea. And what does Wallace do? Oh, we're done here. We're moving on. Come on, man. Anybody worth their salt, if they wanted to be fair, would have drilled down on that statement. But he rescued, going back to our first article, that is about as clear of indication as you can be, that Chris Wallace rescued Joe Biden in that moment, because he should have drilled down on it. And I'm actually disappointed that some people, and I get it, I understand, at Fox News, they get paid, but no one there, and that's why Fox News is dropping, in my opinion. Even though the ratings are up, they're dropping in the way I look at them, is because no one even pointed that out that I can see there. All right, we got a couple of minutes left. We're going to do a quick update on our brothers and sisters to the south, and I say that with all due affection. I feel sorry for the people of Venezuela. I truly do. I got some great friends from Venezuela. I've got one friend of mine still got some people down there. I haven't talked to him in a while. Maybe a lot of them escaped. But this is from a Reuters article. New round of protests shakes Venezuela as public services fail. And remember, I've posted before, and this is so true. Boy, is this not pertinent to what is happening in our nation right now. Wake up. Look at this meme. It says it all. This is what this election is about. Put Donald Trump aside. Now, I know he is our savior in this cause. I believe that. But this election, this is why I say it's bigger than Donald Trump. Because you can vote your way into socialism, but every time, if you get out of it, you do it at the guns a-blazing. You can vote your way into socialism, but you always have to shoot your way out. Back to this story very quickly. A new round of protests has started to sweep across Venezuela as discontent intensifies in the country's near-abandoned interior due to worsening fuel shortages and the constant failure of public services. Local government organization said on Tuesday. The country's, the key phrase in there, the country's near-abandoned interior. I've been warning you that Hunger Games is coming to our country. I'm not talking about the actual games, but the way it was set up, where you got these shining cities on the hill, and the rest of us out here in the hinterland scrambling to provide for the elite. That absolutely is coming. It's already happening in Venezuela, and it's happening right here in our country right now. We're the flyover, even in Florida. According to reports received by Caracas-based Venezuela observation of social conflict over, listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. This is coming from one of the richest nations, at least it was, certainly in South America, but really in the world. Resources you can't believe. Over 100 protests have taken place since the weekend of the 19th of Venezuela's 23rd states to demand authorities provide water, power, and fuel. We'll close the show with this. Provide water, power, and fuel. Think about it. This is a country of oil, some of the largest reserves on the planet, yet they can't even provide their own citizens with oil, with fuel, with power. That, the electricity comes from that fuel. Can't even provide it in one of the oil richest countries on the planet, thanks to socialism. And they live, for God's sakes, in a rainforest, yet people can't get a drink of water. So, I mean, and the left wants to bring this to you. Absolutely. It is crazy, man. And here's the thing, Donald Trump, if you compare, and this is a reason, if you don't have any other reason to vote for Donald Trump, vote for him for this. He has made us energy independent for the first time in my lifetime. energy independent. What do you think is going to happen when no fracking Biden comes to thing? When Ocasio-Cortez jumps out of that Trojan horse and we have the Green New Deal absolutely on here. What's going to happen? That's a good reason to vote for him then. But think about this, and I'll close the show with this. In Venezuela right now, they are protesting in the streets for freedom. They want freedom. They want to get out of the shackles of socialism. And in this country, that when we're blessed with freedom, while we can keep that republic, that's what this election is about, we actually have people protesting and burning down the cities to do away with freedom. You know, one question I'd like to see in the debate is to ask Joe Biden to tell what of the Bill of Rights he still believes in. Because I don't see, he said it's his party, right? I am the Democratic Party. Well, from what I can see, the Democratic Party does not believe in freedom. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the show as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. Please go directly to John Martin Talks Facebook page, like it, share it with others. I'll pray for your family. You pray for mine. Let's all pray for this great nation. But above all else, like I say each and every day, from my heart, from my family to yours, have a blessed day.